Adrian, thank you. And a very good evening to you for England's last competitive game on home soil before the start of the World Cup. And it's a night without jeopardy, the chief task in hand having already been completed, with qualification assured before any other European nation. That's principally down to the last meeting between these two just 9 weeks ago, the night in Belgrade that changed everything. Going into that match, the flag had been flying. 2 dreadful summer performances, followed by a victory against Andorra that drew immense criticism. The green shoots of recovery that Stewart spotted that night blossomed on the play to Serbia, where a 5-0 win saw the most England shots on target against top 30 opposition in over a decade. An attacking blueprint laid down and built upon in the subsequent wins over Wales and Latvia. Now there's an established pattern of play, second team with a clear identity, and when the England story is written after next summer, that night in Belgrade may well be referenced. Well, Serbia have changed their manager since then. Dragan Stojkovic resigned after the home defeat to Albania, which has put their chances of qualification in real jeopardy. They lose tonight in Veljko Panovic's first game in charge. An Albanian win in Andorra will seal second in the group and leave the Serbs looking nervously at a raft of other results elsewhere for a playoff via the Nations League. Draw here, and they've still got a chance. There is plenty on it for them. Well, England make 3 changes on a night when the omission of Bellingham's the big news. Pickford's in goal. He could be at 900 minutes without conceding for England by the end of the night. The back 4 of James, Concert, Stones and debutant Nico O'Reilly, who scored 6 career goals, and 3 of them have been here at Wembley. Elliot Anderson plays in front of them. Then Saka, Rodgers, Rice and Rashford with Kane up front. Serbia have Rajkovic in goal, Mimovic, Milenkovic, Pavlovic and Terzic, Zivkovic, Ivan Ilic, Gudelja, Lukic and Kostic, and Vlahovic. It's a change of system. They played with the back 3 for years, playing with the back 4 under the new coach tonight. Well, with qualification assured, England's players are in pursuit of places at the World Cup and places in the record books. Beat Serbia again, and the Three Lions will have won 10 competitive games in a row. And no England side in history can better that. We're underway. England kicking from left to right on one of those nights, very dank, drizzly night, not helped by the immense amount of pyrotechnics 6 or 7 minutes before kick-off, which have left the smoke lingering in the air in the dankness. First touch for Reece James, who's one of the players recalled tonight, coming back in at right back, finding Ezri Konsa, who's playing at 2 but at centre-half. And he's gone back for Jordan Pickford in all yellow, who comes forward towards the edge of the centre circle before driving a left-footed ball forward. Saka beaten by Terzic in the air, wins a throw, and we're goalless through the opening 30 seconds here at Wembley. I'm delighted to say that the former England captain Stuart Pearce is watching the game alongside us tonight.
Yeah, absolute pleasure, Jim, and it really feels as though the countdown clock's on for next summer now. The draw coming up obviously early December as well. The excitement will crank up once again, but just looking at the Serb lineup, you called it earlier, as I say, it's a back 4 from them, with Kostic playing slightly further up the pitch and not being the wing back tonight.
Yeah, Kostic played at left wing back when these two met back in the autumn. Ball played forward here and cut out by Terzic, who has dropped in at left back in the 4. Kostic playing ahead of him. And England won the ball back on the near touchline with Reece James. James's ball forward towards Anderson, who's had this stellar start to his international career. His 5th appearance for his country tonight, and he really has excelled in each of the previous 4, or large swathes of each of the previous 4. He's got possession again now. Turn forward to Reece James on the England right. Back from him to Konsa and across towards John Stones. There haven't been too many occasions where England have played with the same centre-halves that they did in the previous game under Thomas Tuchel. That's the case tonight. And now James on the right-hand touchline just showed the ball to Kostic and laid it back instead to Anderson. Anderson's ball forward into the feet of Bukayo Saka. Anderson gets it again, turning it back inside his own half for Ezri Konsa. England playing with plenty of possession, often the case in friendlies and qualifiers here at Wembley, but playing with possession at a half-decent tempo in these early stages. There's certainly a desire to get the ball forward. Early touch for Nico O'Reilly, who's the sixth player to make his England debut under Thomas Tuchel. And now Conser can bring the ball forward. Side putting it down the inside right channel, looking for Morgan Rogers. Anderson comes to attack that and caught his man. And it's a free kick won by Ivan Ilic. That'll be taken by Serbia about 10 yards inside their own half. Elsewhere tonight, some significant games. Iceland have won 2-0 in Azerbaijan. Hungary have won 1-0 in Armenia. And that means that Armenia are out and Azerbaijan are out. Iceland still going. France, who have just kicked off in their game in Paris against Ukraine, will qualify tonight if they win. And that would be good news as well for Romania, who would make it through to the playoffs. Long ball played over the top. Vlahovic chasing. Managed to get a cross-come shot in from a very tight angle on the right-hand side of the penalty area. Just deflected away and goes out of play for a corner. One long ball over the top of the high England back line, threatening to cause problems, but the England defenders, particularly Conser, had enough pace to be able to deal with the threat of Vlahovic.
Yeah, it was. They're playing a really high line there, England, and it was Conser right on the halfway line, attempting to catch Vlahovic offside, but it certainly didn't work. Good run by the striker, and Serbia have forced a corner with heavy rain coming down.
And they've got 8 to attack it inside the penalty area. Swung in towards the edge of the 6-yard box and well headed away by Conser. Back down towards the corner flag, and Zivkovic will take another one. That was a decent delivery. Plenty of swing and potency. Stewart would say plenty of violence on the ball in from that Serbian right-hand side. They've made a bright start here. Real fight scene inside the 6-yard box. This latest Zivkovic delivery, he's just told to wait, just as he was poised to kick it, because the referee has seen some pushing and shoving going on, and Ivan Kruzliak has called Milenkovic over. He wants a word with him. He wants a word with Rice as well. The 2 number 4s being spoken to. Everybody seems happy. Now they will take their relative places inside that congested 6-yard box again. Rogers trying to keep an eye on Pavlovic making a run. This time it's worked short. Clipped in towards the far post. Milenkovic will run round it, let it drift past him, down towards the left wing corner flag. Trying to buy another corner off Rice, but was unsuccessful. Then the cross comes in from Terzic. That's well blocked by Saka and goes out of play for a Serbia throw. It's 0-0 through the opening 5 minutes.
Yeah, I think England got fortunate there that the Serbs didn't put that ball in. The first corner was absolutely fantastic. It whipped it in. They had 8 players in the box, really looking at this as a great opportunity, and the second one they've decided to play short and it didn't arrive in the box, thankfully.
Throw taken back to Pavlovic, and he'll turn it all the way back to his goalkeeper, Predrag Rajkovic, who was first choice during the Euros and played in that 1-0 defeat that Serbia suffered against England when a Jude Bellingham goal in Gelsenkirchen got England's campaign off to a winning start. Rajkovic hasn't played too many games recently. He's been dropped, but gets his place back tonight under the new manager, replacing Bournemouth's former Chelsea goalkeeper Georgia Petrovic. They're in no kind of form, Serbia, and it's been the results against Albania that have all but crippled this qualification campaign. If they were to lose tonight, you would imagine Albania will win away to Andorra, and that will mean that Serbia can finish no higher than 3rd in the group. That isn't necessarily the end for them. They still qualify for the playoffs via the Nations League if 3 of Wales, Northern Ireland, Romania and Sweden finish in the top 2 of their group. Now that's not unlikely. Wales and Romania probably will. Northern Ireland may well as well if they can get a draw in Slovakia tomorrow. Sweden, under Graham Potter, almost certainly won't now. They've left themselves far too much to do. If Serbia finished 3rd in this group, that almost certainly means that Israel will go out. So the way that the qualifications works, so many ramifications for one country with a result of a completely unrelated country in a completely different group. England try and work the ball forward down the right-hand side for Saka. It's clear towards halfway. Brought under control by Vlahovic, the Juventus striker. Has scored for his country in the World Cup. And there's one throw which will be taken on the left flank for Serbia. There's not a sparkling start for England when you consider how quickly they have been out of the traps in some previous games. Not playing at a bad tempo. I haven't seen quite as much of the ball as they did in the early stages of the match in Belgrade between these two. But they're in Serbian territory now, albeit that they haven't quite got it. Vlahovic has lost out. Konsa doing well, stepping up for the defensive line, can flick it down the right-hand touchline for Rodgers. Back he goes for Konsa again. And now Reece James will take over. A player that in this system is never given an awful lot of licence to push forward from full-back. He'll be the one that stays back. But now he will just trot gently into Serbian territory before receiving the ball and going back for Elliot Anderson. Anderson back for Stones, and as the rain continues to come down with increasing ferocity, Stones will work it out towards the left-hand touchline for England. Another opportunity to try and get it forward. Play by O'Reilly, trying to find his way through, works it down the line for Rashford. His cross was blocked. Serbia looking to get it forward quickly, and Vlahovic acknowledged the intent of the pass forward, but Stones could cut it out. And Konsa brings it through the centre circle and then hits a zipped ball down just behind Saka and straight out of play for a throw. 0-0, you're with TalkSport. 8.5 minutes gone in history, yes.
Yeah, just looking at the weather coming down. Normally when you get a good dousing of rain, it makes the ball slip, but there's a tipping point where you've really got to push your passes across the turf, and that seems to be the case now. It's just holding the ball up slightly. Another pointer, just looking at O'Reilly, and I'm pleased to see him getting a run out, because I've got to say, I don't think I've seen him have a bad game for Manchester City since he broke into the side last year.
Well, it's hard to think that this time last year he was playing youth league football in European competition. He's now got 3 dozen Manchester City first team appearances behind him. He's not played for the England under-21s as yet. He's got a handful of caps for the 20s. But making his full debut in this role that he's made his own at City at left back. Although Pep very much still sees him as a 10, and he's produced some sparkling performances there. Deli with a layoff, back towards Pavlovic, and he finds his goalkeeper Rajkovic, who takes a touch, and then another one nudges it to his right. He's just trying to invite a Declan Rice-inspired press here, but England are playing, they're backing off, and they're just allowing Rajkovic to chip the ball out of the penalty area easily. So then headed back from halfway by Stones, trying to get Rashford isolated up against Mimovic, the right back who's been recalled to the side tonight for only his second start for his country. Pavlovic has it again on the other side of the penalty area. Down towards Terzic. Terzic taking a touch out of the left-hand touchline, spears the ball down the line. Vlahovic trying to get there. James can get there, and then has to hit a back pass back towards Pickford to make sure that he had enough strength to get the touch, and he does find his goalkeeper, and Konsa is going to be able to bring it away. Still 0-0 in all of the games that have just kicked off in World Cup qualification in Europe tonight, including this one here at Wembley, as Rodgers sends a beautiful ball out to the far side of the penalty area for Marcus Rashford. Rashford controlling it, trying to get it onto his right foot. Couldn't get himself into a shooting position, but he can play in Reece James. Driven in by Rodgers, unorthodox defending with a diving header from Pavlovic, who's only about 2 feet off the ground. He nodded it into the ground, and it bounced up for his goalkeeper to come out and claim it. And we're through the opening 11 minutes still, waiting for the first shot on target.
Yeah, really good build-up play there. Rodgers, a fantastic switch pass to Rashford, and he's just miscontrolled it behind him that sort of give the Serbian backline chance to get into sync.
Konsa's battling with Vlahovic, and Vlahovic has pulled him back. Free kick goes England's way just inside their own half.
I think it's one of those nights, Jim, when we do get it in these wide areas, get it in the box, you know, it's slippery, and anything in and around or behind the back line between the goalkeeper is going to cause a big problem.
That was the tactic that England employed out in Belgrade, and it was a pretty shoddy night that night as well, weather-wise. The crosses didn't come in with a great degree of accuracy, but they did come in regularly. Saka with a lovely little nutmeg there of Sasha Lukic. Fires the ball out to the England left-hand side for Rashford, where O'Reilly is waiting in support. He's pulled it back instead for Elliot Anderson. Anderson chopping it onto his left foot, then onto his right, gets a shot in which is blocked. England working forward again. Rodgers winning the seconds and almost able to thread it through for Saka, and as it came back to him, he hit it too briskly for Kane to control. But the crowd appreciating that, because that was potent football from close quarters by England, played with a really good tempo around the edge of the penalty area. Just didn't quite come off. That was better.
It certainly was, and it was that man again, Rodgers, who just flicked the ball with his outside of his foot. just was cut out. It was Saka who darted in behind, and it was Milenkovic who come across the back line and just got there first.
England coming into this on the back of 10 wins in 11. They've won their last 9 competitive internationals. Only ever won 10 in a row once. That was back in the 2014-15 season in qualifying for Euro 2016. Those 10 successive wins sandwiched around 2 really disappointing tournaments. Sandwiched by 2 very disappointing tournaments. The World Cup in Brazil, England failed to win a game, and then the auspicious European Championship campaign where England were beaten by Iceland, but they did win all 10 qualifiers that time. Hoping to do it again. In fact, only one European nation has ever won more consecutive competitive matches without conceding. That was Spain, who won 10 in a row at the same sort of time between 2014 and 2016. 10 successive competitive victories and didn't concede in any of them. England can make it 9 in a row without conceding in competitive games tonight. Play stops because of a foul on Kostic just outside the Serbian penalty area, 10 yards outside the box. Referee's gone across, doesn't look full of sympathy. Ivan Kruzliak. Kostic is still down on the floor, writhing around in pain. Another result from earlier in Group I. Norway beat Estonia 4-1. And yes, he did. He scored twice, Erling Haaland, who's now got 30 goals this season for club and country in 19 games. November the 13th, he's got 30 goals already. With 14 in his qualification campaign, and he scored in each of his last 10 internationals with 19 goals. What that means, they're all but mathematically qualified, Norway. Italy go to Moldova tonight. If Italy win by 10 this evening, they've only got to beat Norway by 5 in the San Siro on Sunday. I think it's fair to say Norway have won that group, but mathematically not quite. That would put Italy in the playoffs. Italy are in the playoffs. That means Germany will almost certainly be seeded for the tournament itself. It's another example of these ramifications of one result and the effect that it can have on other countries. Germany ranked 10th in the world at the moment in the FIFA list, and that will almost certainly be enough for them to be in the top seeds. It certainly will be if they win their 2 remaining games. England definitely will be in the top seeds, ranked 4th in the FIFA list at the moment. It's 0-0 here at Wembley on TalkSport. Ball out of play for a throw that'll be taken by Terzic. About 12 yards inside the England half. Thomas Tuchel in a raincoat with a black baseball cap, protecting his face from the inclement conditions. And he's just standing with arms folded, looking on. I think he will be massively enamoured with the England performance so far. There have been some nice moments going forward, but they've yet to hit the heights that we've seen in the last 3 games.
Yeah, we've just been, Morgan Rogers has played a part in a couple of the build-ups, but when we fed the ball out to Rashford on 2 or 3 occasions, he's just come inside looking to open the goal up, but credit to the Serbs that they've stopped that line of attack pretty quickly.
Long throw comes in from Terzic. Kostic trying to make something happen, has given a free kick away. England will take it inside their own penalty area. Jordan Pickford now up to 826 minutes since he last conceded, so he's extended his own record by 100 minutes now since Pavlidis scored the winner here at Wembley. It's the last goal that Pickford has conceded. Elsewhere, Ireland 1, Portugal 0. Troy Parrott, who's been scoring goals for fun in the Dutch league this season, has given the Republic the lead against Portugal. Portugal will qualify tonight if they win, or if they get a draw and Hungary don't win, the Republic of Ireland lead by a goal to 0. The Republic themselves out. If they lose tonight, they will be eliminated. But leading, courtesy of that goal from Troy Parrott. All out of play for a throw. Let me just clarify that. Portugal must win tonight to qualify tonight. And trailing in the early stages at the Aviva by a goal. It's the only goal in the 7:45 kickoffs in Europe. And elsewhere in Africa, Nigeria eliminated Gabon earlier. They're part of a 4-team tournament. Nigeria beating Gabon 4-1 in extra time. Will play the winners of Cameroon against DR Congo, which is taking place at the moment. And the winners of that make it through to the Confederation playoff. England bring it forward again with Saka. Saka outside him has got Reece James, who controls it and then slips. Tackled himself for a moment, but his recovery was almost instant, and he got back on his feet before Kostic could win possession back. Serbian captain sees James just knock it past him to Anderson, who drops deep to link up the play. Here's Harry Kane. Kane turning it first time beautifully down towards Saka in his yellow boots on the right-hand side of the penalty area. It opens up for Saka, but he's missed the top left-hand corner. That was that traditional Bukayo Saka move, taking it, dropping his shoulder, working it onto his left foot, but he couldn't get the angle right that time. Sent it a little bit too far wide and significantly higher than the goal.
Yeah, and that probably takes us back to that point that we spoke about pre-match, the ball going into a centre forward who holds it up and sets it out wide, and the opportunity comes from there accordingly.
England back in action, Sunday tea time. It's a 5 o'clock kickoff. Away to Albania, the final game in this group. We will be in Tirana for that match live here on TalkSport. And on Saturday evening, we've got the huge rematch between Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn, live from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, which you can watch along on the night over on the TalkSport Boxing YouTube channel. That's Eubank Jr. against Benn 2 this Saturday from 7 o'clock live on TalkSport, or watch live on DAZN. Here at Wembley tonight in the rain, and it's still coming down with real ferocity. It's 0-0, largely chanceless so far. Last time these two sides met, England had 12 shots on target, but yet to force one this evening with the 20-minute mark fast approaching. Nico O'Reilly's in possession out on the England left. He's just been robbed of the ball there by Zivkovic, but Stones could come across and cover for his club teammate. Lays the ball back for Jordan Pickford, who brings it back outside the penalty area to find Anderson. And Anderson turns the ball down towards Konsa, in turn finding Reece James. It's interesting in terms of the team selection, Bellingham being left out, as we talked about extensively in the build-up, because Thomas Tuchel has said that he wants to keep faith with the players who got possession of the shirt, but he has changed the fullbacks and brought Reece James back in as soon as he's available.
Yeah, I think Reece is probably one of his favourites. I get that impression, and I think he certainly worked with him before, and he likes him in that role. I think what I would like from him tonight is probably somebody that gets beyond Saka when it's needed. I think he needs to soldier on a little bit, and this big diagonal, Jim, from right to left has been played a few times.
O'Reilly on the end of that latest one. Curved the ball back inside the penalty area that was half dealt with. James will now make a run inside the penalty area, but Anderson's gone the other way. Fired a ball in towards the far post looking for Rashford. Kane tried to help it on and bulldoze his way through, couldn't quite. It's cleared out for James. And now Rice will take over. And Declan Rice turning briskly in the midfield, just opened up his body in the right-hand half of the pitch and laid the ball down for Ezri Konsa. Konsa to James. Anderson getting it through. Saka inside the penalty area, drilled across the edge of the 6-yard box. He's looking for Rodgers. It's cleared by Pavlovic, and England have their first corner with 21 minutes gone at 0-0.
Yeah, really good play there. Integral by Anderson in midfield. He's seen a lot of the ball in the build-up and on that occasion further up the pitch. But I think if England are going to be breaking the deadlock anytime soon, it's got to come potentially either from Rodgers finding that little cute pass in and around the last third, or more importantly, when we do switch play to the likes of Rashford and Saka, they've got to go past somebody and open the goal up.
So this is England's first corner, and Declan Rice comes across to take it on the England right. He's worked it in short, right along the deck towards the bottom right-hand corner of the 6-yard box, and it's cleared. Saka back out for Rice again. Rice coming towards the edge of the penalty area, just laying the ball down towards Anderson. Anderson for Saka, and Saka chipping it up straight to the chin of Kostic. It's ricocheted off him and goes out of play, then off an England player for a throw. Going to be taken on the Serbian left. So we're midway through the first half. England yet to really pull up any trees. Thomas Tuchel is standing there, the body language such that arms across his body, he's looking frustrated, and potentially more so now because Jordan Pickford, who's had next to nothing to do, is down injured, sat down injured about 5-6 yards outside his own penalty area.
Yeah, I think he's got a thigh strain. He's hit a couple of long balls, long raking balls forward, and the way he's looking, just wobbling away at that thigh, left thigh, and I think that's what's happened. isn't good news for him.
Not good news for him, not good news for Everton either. Pickford being attended to by the medical staff now. 23 minutes into the game here on TalkSport. He's just getting back up to his feet and seems to have indicated that he's okay. Certainly okay for now. He's just giving it a little stretch, maybe soldier through towards half-time. The break has given Thomas Tuchel the opportunity to get his players over and just do a little bit of fine-tuning, discuss what's going right and more pertinently at the moment what's going wrong. Similarly, Veljko Paunovic, the Serbian coach, can do likewise. He did have 18 months in charge of Reading and has got the job replacing Dragan Stojkovic. He'd had a spell in Spain with Real Oviedo earlier this season, only to be the first La Liga manager sacked this season. But not taking over the country for whom he won a couple of caps as a player. Pickford's okay. We will continue. The play will resume with a throw that Terzic will take in the left-back position for Serbia in all blue. Thrown forward. Vlahovic just comes underneath the ball with Konsa. Kostic made a run past them. England clear. Kane scampers after it. Pavlovic can clear down the Serbian left. Sasha Lukic going up for that, but can only nod it into the path of Saka. He can't get it to stick. Lukic comes across. Rice has beaten him to the loose ball, and O'Reilly will mop up 20 yards outside his penalty area by going back for Pickford, who doesn't want to stick his foot through it and send a long one forward that time. He's just passed it out from the back to find Ezri Konsa.
Yeah, I was just looking at Thomas Tuchel doing a short team talk there why Pickford was down, and a lot of what he was saying was aimed at Reece James. So I don't know whether he wants Reece James to get advanced a bit quicker, or alternatively tuck in and overload the midfield.
Rice finding Rashford, who stings the palms of goalkeeper Rajkovic with a right-footed effort. But it was of little consequence, an easy save. He didn't have to move a muscle in just beating the ball down. Shot on target for England, but it stays 0-0.
Yeah, really good set-up play there, including Rice and Rashford. And the shot, he just set it out wide enough to start with.
And they can work it forward again here, can Serbia, with Ivan Ilic. Plays the ball back through the midfield towards Gedelia coming forward. Now out to the right-hand side for Zivkovic, who will get a cross in. Konsa covering the run of Vlahovic very well. James can help it further clear, and Saka's ball towards halfway will allow England to push forward from the back and get out. There's not nearly the gulf between these two nations that there was out in Belgrade, because even at 0-0 that night, it was only a matter of time before England were going to score. But this evening, not too many clear-cut chances are being created.
I've got to say, the Serbs, I think, have got more energy tonight and more organisation. I think we could just run past them at will in Belgrade. I'm not seeing that from them tonight.
I'm not sure it necessarily happens in international football the way that maybe it does sometimes in club football. It felt like a performance in Belgrade where they were playing to get the manager out. I mean, there was a lot of political protest against him in the stands, and a little bit of fighting going on that the police had to come and quell. Such were the protests that were being aimed in Stojkovic's direction that night, and they were appalling. But they've been much better this evening. It's a much changed team. 7 changes in all for tonight from the one that lost to Albania last month. The ball's gone out for a throw that'll be taken over on the England left-hand side, about 20 yards inside the Serbian half, and it remains 0-0. And just a few paper aeroplanes are coming down. Always the barometer for entertainment value here at Wembley. If England have maybe just lost the odd isolated supporter in the early stages. Here's Kane though, dropping deep, picking up possession, working it down towards the right-hand side. Saka's controlled it neatly on his chest. James makes a run pass in, that creates space for Saka to turn back inside and unleash another left-footed shot, which again is blocked. Anderson comes out, wins the seconds, foul by Pavlovic because he just nipped in between the Serbian centre-half on the ball. Contact was inevitable, and it's a free kick that'll be taken by England about 6 yards in from the right-hand touchline and 12 adrift to the corner of the box.
Yeah, Saka received the ball out wide there, and I'm not sure the run of Reece James actually helped him. He sort of went on the overlap, then cut inside and went on the underlap, and I'm not sure that really helped Saka in any way, shape or form.
England do have this free kick, and there's a two-man wall near the corner of the penalty area. It's a chance for Rice just to toe poke the ball up the line for Saka. But it's almost certainly going to be fired in deep towards the far post here. Indeed it is from Rice. Nice shape on the ball. Nobody really attacked it. It's punch clear. O'Reilly back in. Staying deflected. Oh, what a goal from Saka. That's a magnificent volley. Just a sensational goal. A snapshot, didn't have time to think about it, watched it onto his left foot and unleashed. It ends up in the bottom left-hand corner. England haven't been brilliant, but that is a real moment of inspiration from Bukayo Saka. And it's 1-0.
Yeah, it was. The ball's broke to O'Reilly on the edge of the box on the left-hand side. He's hit it, it's been half cleared, gone wide, and Saka, well, I've got to say, he made it a very, very difficult technique look very easy. Just opened his body out and guided it into the far corner with his side foot, and it was a very, very clinical finish. Totally wrong foot in the goalkeeper.
28th minute opener for Bukayo Saka, his 14th goal for his country, and his second under Thomas Tuchel to add to the one that he scored against Wales. They have actually dried up for him in his international career a little. That's only his third in his last 19 games, but wow, what a moment. I mean, he struck it beautifully. The goalkeeper, his weight was going the other way to watch the cross, and then Saka just pinged it past him. He'd have another 50 goes of that, he wouldn't hit one as sweetly. It's 1-0 to England.
Yeah, the control on the ball was absolutely wonderful, and it's the breakthrough that England needed to settle down a little bit. As you say, the performance has been okay, and now we've got reward for that performance.
Yeah, it's been a steady 6.5, hasn't it? It hasn't been the 8.5, 9 that we've seen from England in the last 3 games, nor has it been the 4.5 that has been in evidence at times over the past year. England have been steady away, but when you can be steady away and have moments like that, steady away might be good enough. Here's Anderson playing it back for John Stones. England 1, Serbia 0. And that has huge ramifications for Serbia's qualification hopes. The other scoreline in this group at the moment, which is very relevant for Serbian fans, Andorra 0, Albania 0, is still the way that it looks. So it's England on 21, Albania on 12, Serbia on 10. As things stand right now, Latvia and Andorra already eliminated. England bring it forward again. Rodgers very nearly threading it through for Saka. It was cut out, and he should be knocked away relatively easily by Zivkovic. Has he given it away? No, not quite, because the whistle has come to his rescue as he lost his bearings and lost possession near the edge of the penalty area, but was fouled by Rashford in the process.
I tell you what, this is a part of England's game that we've just seen then, I think's improved a little bit. Ratting after the ball. When we've lost the ball just then in sort of mid-band of Serbia's half, there was 4 or 5 players going after the ball and going after it quickly, and I think Serbia got very fortunate then getting that free kick.
Rajkovic clears from the edge of his own 6-yard boxes. It was played back to him by Milenkovic. And they're winning it back on halfway with Reece James, with Concert caught off the ball. Play goes on. Stones laying it back for Pickford. Pickford again very reluctant to try and unleash a long ball forward. So he's nursing his thigh through this, having had that treatment 6 or 7 minutes ago. He's played a couple of composed side-footed passes there. Kane's in possession, but he's 20 yards inside his own half. He's got players 50 yards ahead of him. That's how deep he dropped as he worked it forward there. Saka chasing after it, wins the throw from Pavlovic, which will be taken by the England goal scorer. No, he's going to leave it instead for Reece James. England with an excellent record when they've scored first in games. Last season they won 8 out of 9 when they took the lead in matches, the only exception being that friendly against Senegal. And this season they've won all 4 matches when they've scored first. Anderson, it's a ball wide for O'Reilly. Give the England trivia question in a few minutes' time, as the ball is played down to the right-hand side for Ezri Konsa. I'll just give you a little taste of something completely unrelated, but just one to think about over the next couple of minutes before I give you England's trivia question. O'Reilly playing tonight is the second man to play for England who was born in 2005. Who's the other one? Just let you contemplate on that just for a couple of minutes. The ball played over the top. Rice making a a run after it, but it's cleared. It will be brought down by England again, with Kane dropping deep and almost playing in Rodgers, but on the stretch the Villa man couldn't bring it under control. Serbia clear, but from the back now it's a little bit panic-stricken when they have the ball at the feet. They'll just try and hammer it away, and England are able to turn over possession easily, and the goal has settled England down and has flustered Serbia to 1-0 with a wonderful strike from Saka, who's in possession again now. From him for James, and turn forward to Anderson. Rodgers making a run down the line past Saka. Saka controls it, lays it back for Reece James. The edge of the centre circle is Stones. Out he goes to Nico O'Reilly. O'Reilly cleverly turning it round the corner for Rashford. Oh, Rashford brilliant, got past his man. Pavlovic came across and stopped him getting any further, but very quick feed from Rashford, a player whose confidence is clearly high after a wonderful 6 weeks for Barcelona, and he's won a throw.
Yeah, he's received the ball on a few occasions out in that wide area. A couple of times, just slight miscontrols that have not put him on the front foot, but he's a real threat out there.
England will work it forward again with Anderson. And now Rice will bring it forward. He's putting his foot underneath it, a very aerial pass out towards Bukayo Saka, one that really will have come down with rain on it. Back for Reece James, down for Rodgers, who's drifted away to the right flank for a moment. And 1-2 between him and Saka. The second half of it didn't come off, and Sasha Lukic can stick his foot on the ball, finding Kostic. Pavlovic seems to be everywhere at the moment. He's stepped up from the defensive line and found Dusan Vlahovic. Tried to get the ball down for Terzic, the left back, to make a run forward down the left-hand touchline, but Konsa cut that pass out, and now Kane, who has played deeper than we've seen him of late, has picked it up again and will take on Milenkovic out towards the left-hand touchline. Pulls the ball back. Referee has to take evasive action. Rashford can still get on the end of it and stings in a right-footed shot that the goalkeeper could save, but he's found Pavlovic in the process. And it's going to be a free kick which will be taken by Serbia. He's going to need a little bit of treatment. So, one England player before Nico O'Reilly, born in 2005. Did I suck you in for Myers Lewis Skelly?
You've got me, yeah.
That's not him. He was born in 2006. So the answer,
Mainu.
Kobbie Mainu. Well done, Stu. Good answer. Kobbie Mainu, who's near the squad at the moment. Here is the trivia question for tonight, though. This just gives you a little bit to think about. So England have scored in their last 18 internationals. That's their best run for more than 70 years. Now, within that run, there are 8 players who have scored who've never played football for a London club. Who are they? So, in England's last 18 games, they've scored in them all, and 8 players have scored for England in that run, or 8 England players, I'm not including own goals, 8 England players have scored in that run who have never played club football for a London club. Who are those 8? Just let you discuss that. 1 or 2 obvious ones, 1 or 2 that might take a little more plucking out of the ether. We'll discuss it. We'll get the thoughts of Adrian Stewart and the rest of the team at half-time as to who a few of those might be, and we'll give you the answer probably about midway through the second half, something like that. You're not missing anything, because Serbia are just taking Mimovic off over on the far touchline after that heavy challenge. It looks as though they might be forced to make a replacement. He's walking off very gingerly behind that goal away to our right-hand side. And the Serbs are just preparing to make a change, are they? Well, not just yet. It's not Mimovic. It's not Mimovic, actually, over on that far touchline. The player that is being helped to aid is Ilic. I beg your pardon. So Ivan Ilic just making his way behind Rajkovic's goal as we speak. Temporarily, the visitors down to 10 men. They trail by a goal to 0. Scored by Bukayo Saka on 28 minutes here on TalkSport. Remember, Sunday tea time, England in Albania to conclude this group, and we will be there. Anderson laying it back for Pickford. We're hoping to be fit enough for that 5 o'clock kickoff on TalkSport on Sunday. It's ball out towards Reece James was just a little bit too hot. James got his head to it but couldn't keep it in. Throw taken quickly by Terzic. And he's laid it back towards Lukic. Lukic will bring the ball through the centre circle. Puts it out towards the right flank. Receives a return ball from Mimovic right in front of a big cross of St George with Portsmouth blazing proudly across it over on that far side. Now Rajkovic will clear from the edge of the D. Serbia getting Stankovic ready. He's going to be coming on in a moment. 1-0 England lead. Anderson trying to win the ball back, but they've done well to get it past him. Ball across the edge of the 6-yard box. Stone's forced to slide in and get the ball away, and Pickford comes out, appreciates his defensive effort. High five between the pair of them. Serbia though win a corner and will now make the change with Stankovic coming on for Ilic. Set to go to half time. It's 1-0 to England. Yeah,
if I was the Serbs now, I'd be whipping this under the crossbar. I'm not sure we'll see Jordan Pickford in the second half. You know, since that thigh problem he had, he's failed to kick the ball any length whatsoever. So if I was them, they've certainly loaded up numbers in the box once again.
I would imagine that a set piece might be their best avenue. Haven't conceded a competitive goal for 762 minutes. Another corner to defend. It's punted inside that 6-yard box and pushed away by Jordan Pickford back outside the penalty area, and Terzic has blazed one way over the bar. Now the Salzburg fullback, who's just scored the one international goal so far, missing the target by some distance. Pickford will retrieve the loose ball himself from in front of the hoardings away to our left-hand side. Goal kick that looked as though he was going to leave for Konsa. Has in fact just put the ball down for John Stones to restart play. 1-0 to England here on TalkSport. Anderson, England really close to taking liberties as they tried to play out from the back and through the Serbian press. Every pass was neat enough and tidy enough to find its intended destination, but I think there were a few Serbian faces lit up for a moment there. They thought they were going to be able to win possession back inside the penalty area. They didn't. Atkinson just a little bit high with the crossfield ball for O'Reilly, which drifts out for a throw that'll be taken over on that Serbian right-hand side. England 1, Serbia 0 here on TalkSport. 5 to go to the break, Stu.
Yeah, as I say, that crossfield pass has been a feature of this first half a little bit. We've seen it from Anderson, we've seen it from James, and we've seen it from Rodgers on a few occasions, but we just need a little bit more when it arrives into those wide areas, and a good delivery.
Oh, Pickford playing out from the back again, and it was a ball into the feet of Anderson, who would be aware that he had one Serbian player closing him down, maybe not aware that he had one coming from each side. And Anderson hurriedly scooped it back towards Pickford, and again England survived, but I think Anderson would have appreciated the ball being played into him there at that pace. Kane getting it forward here for O'Reilly. O'Reilly towards the edge of the penalty area. Wembley goal-scoring specialist, and he's just hit the outside of the post bar and touched on the goalkeeper there. It was England win another corner.
Yeah, he did exactly that. He drove with the ball, a nice little 1-2 with Rashford. He's hit the outside of the post through a deflection. Second closest England have come, but we've got an opportunity now to put the ball in the box from the corner with Declan Rice.
As I mentioned earlier, half the club goals he scored in his career have been here at Wembley. Nico O'Reilly. I think that one would have gone down as an own goal. The cross intended for players arriving at the far post rather than a shot. I don't think it was on target. So in front of just a little pocket of about 100 Serbian fans, this England corner will be taken over on the far touchline by Rice. Swept in, headed down by Kane, and wide.
What an opportunity there. Brilliant corner in. Declan Rice, in swing, right foot. In it come. And Harry Kane, coming in on the far post above all the Serbian defenders, has just headed it down and wide. And for his standards, and he's shaking his head now, he'll know that he should have scored there.
Well, he's got a chance for a little bit of history tonight. There are only 3 players that have ever scored in 5 straight Wembley appearances for England. Bobby Charlton did it in the late 50s. Peter Crouch did it. Wayne Rooney scored in 6 in the 2014-15 season. Should have added to it there with what would have been his 8th goal in 8 games under Thomas Tuchel. Talking about Haaland being on 30 goals for club and country this season. Kane's on 20 in 15 games, which is pretty tidy. He's got it again now, inside the centre circle. Well, he's playing deep, and has done as a feature throughout his international career, but he's really deep tonight as he plays the ball forward here for Rashford, who has just caught Mimovic. What have you made of Kane's starting position in open play?
Well, he's dropped off on a couple of occasions, once right in front of us, dropping really deep to link play. What I like about him when he does drop off that deep, he gives the players advanced of him exactly what he would like. As I say, he's got the ball, he's turned. It would have been easy for him in the centre area there to turn round and play it sideways or play an easy ball. But he hasn't done that. He's hit a raking ball to Rashford in behind their back line. And basically, he's put a message on the ball and said, that's the type of ball I want to receive as a centre forward.
England have conceded a free kick in the heart of the midfield. Nico O'Reilly is the guilty party. Serbia with an opportunity to try and get themselves back on level terms. The only other goal in the European World Cup qualifiers tonight scored by Ireland's Troy Parrott. They lead Portugal by a goal to nil, which would put off Portugal's qualification. I'm sure it wouldn't stop it, just put it off, but keeps Ireland in the tournament. They lead by a goal to nil. Azerbaijan, Armenia and Gabon all eliminated from the World Cup already today. In comes this free kick, hit down the right hand side of the penalty area. Pickford comes out, gets a foot to it and kicks it away from Kostic. And it's out of play for a corner. It was a well-worked one down the right-hand side of the box. Just took Kostic a little wider than he wanted to go. Pickford could come out and make a save. Kicks it away and he goes out for a corner. Troy Parrott scored again. Ireland 2. Portugal 0 at the Aviva. When he saw that coming. Another Serbia corner. It's their 5th. In towards the edge of the 6-yard box and comfortably knocked away. Out for a left-footed effort, taking a couple of deflections, should be easily mopped up at the back. Stones can get it clear. Saka, Rodgers, punts one forward. Rashford's going to chase on. Mimovic has misjudged the bounce. Rashford just played it too far ahead of Declan Rice, but the goalkeeper took his time in getting out there, made contact with Rice and the ball, and then was able to get back to his feet to mop up and do the rest. And his coach Paunovic applauds from the edge of the technical area. I think his heart was in his mouth for a moment. Thought that might be giving a penalty away. He just got there in time. We're into 3 minutes of added time. It's still 1-0 England. Yeah,
great opportunity there to counter-attack. And Rashford just got his pass too heavy for Declan Rice. Declan's done brilliant to try and salvage something from it.
So Rhys James crosses, given by Rodgers at the near post, but that goes wide.
Yeah, ball into the box there. And just going back to that last build-up to the corner, free kick for the Serbs. Rhys James just got caught flat-footed by Kostic there, and I think that the mobility of Pickford wasn't as sharp as it could have been. I'm really surprised to see him in the second half, and he has got a slight niggle.
It could easily be Henderson that would come on, which would mean it wouldn't count as a clean sheet for Pickford if he doesn't play the full 90 minutes, but clearly would add minutes to his own personal record, which is currently 855 without conceding an international goal. Anderson heading the ball through the midfield. O'Reilly to Rashford, turn forward towards Declan Rice, back out towards Marcus Rashford again. So we're asking most of the questions, certainly all the ones in open play at the moment, but Serbian set pieces that do just have an element of threat about them. And midway through the 3 additional minutes here on TalkSport, and Bukayo Saka's beautifully struck left-footed volley remains the difference between the teams. Rhys James to Konsa. Anderson facing away from the direction of travel, plays it back for Stones. Anderson's got it again. Down towards James, 2 yards in from the right-hand touchline. Plays it back for Anderson. Anderson to Rodgers, who was just dispossessed in the midfield by Sasha Lukic. Serbia winning it back. Gedelja, the deepest lying of the 5 in midfield, has done well to dig the ball out and play for the fullback Mimovic, who's deflected cross through the penalty area, goes away and out for another corner to Serbia. They're 6th. England have only had 2. Well, if England can passage of play, then they will have a half-time lead.
Yeah, as I say, we've defended the corners reasonably well at the moment, even though the delivery's been pretty good, and the Serbs certainly are putting 6, 7, 8 players in the box on occasion.
So this is the last Serbian attack of the first half. In the 3rd minute of stoppage time, Milenkovic has come forward, Pavlovic is there as well. Ball in towards the near post, great header away from Nico O'Reilly. And that will be half-time. And England have the lead. They haven't been at their best, but they do lead by a goal to nil. Bukayo Saka with it on 28 minutes. Everybody taken in, but that was the half-time whistle. Just sparing my blushes. That is the half-time whistle now. I don't know, whistling the crowd. I've been doing this job for 35 years. I still can't tell when the players stop and when they don't. It is half-time. England leading. Bukayo Saka on 28 minutes. A beautifully taken goal after O'Reilly's effort deflected back towards him. England not at their potent best. They have been good enough. Plenty for Thomas Tuchel to think about. And Serbia have asked some potentially difficult questions from an array of set pieces. But England lead by a goal to nil at half-time. And Pickford has come out for the second half, so hopefully the point of view was just tactical when he went down midway through the first period. Bukayo Saka out for the second period as well. No changes being made by England at this juncture, nor any more being made by Serbia, who lost Ivan Ilic to injury in the first period. Stankovic came on to replace him. We're back on the way. I'll give you the two lineups very shortly. Serbia in all blue are kicking from left to right, and England in possession, attacking what used to be the tunnel end here at Wembley, and in possession over on the far touchline with Konsa. A ball from him towards Anderson, who's won the first free kick of his second half from Lukic. So England, Pickford in goal, James, Konsa, Stones and O'Reilly, then Anderson, Saka, Rodgers, Rice and Rashford, and Kane. Serbia, Rajkovic in goal, Mimovic, Milenkovic, Pavlovic and Terzic, then Sivkovic, Stankovic, Gedelja, Lukic and Kostic, with Vlahovic up front in a 4-5-1 formation. Serbia have had a flurry of corners, very little else. England leading, courtesy of Bukayo Saka's goal on 28 minutes. Also, we're bearing in mind France will qualify tonight if they win, but they're being held at the moment by Ukraine, and Italy will definitely not be qualifying automatically if they don't win by a cricket score tonight, and they're being held in Moldova 0-0 at the start of the second half in Chisinau. England only won 2 corners in the first half here at Wembley, but the poor back pass which missed Rajkovic has given England the corner at the start of the second.
Yeah, I've got to say there, Rashford's made a run forward, realised he was offside and stopped running. It was a lost cause, it really was. And Declan Rice sets out like you've never seen and put the frighteners on the back line, and they've ended up kicking it out for a corner. Really good play from him, and he's got the opportunity to toss the ball in the box.
Anderson starting in the 6-yard box has peeled away. A zone defending from Serbia by and large, although they have got a man on Rashford who's making a darting run towards the near post. It's fired in deeper, headed away, although there's a suspicion of a push in there, and indeed the referee has found in favour of the left back Terzic, who's gone down, and it's stayed motionless inside the 6-yard box for now. In the African qualifiers earlier, Nigeria eliminated Gabon by beating them 4-1 after extra time. It's Cameroon 0, DR Congo 1 in that game in Rabat in Morocco, and that was a 7 o'clock kickoff, so it's a very late goal there in stoppage time, and that would mean that it would be DR Congo against Nigeria in the African playoff final on Sunday. The winners of that will go through to the Interconfederation playoffs in March. They will still have work to do, potentially another 2 games to get through, but it does look as though it's going to be Nigeria against DR Congo. There's an Asian qualifier earlier as well. The first leg of that, Iraq getting a draw in Abu Dhabi. The second leg is in Basra on Tuesday. Now, a couple of CONCACAF qualifiers later. Jamaica and Honduras can both qualify automatically this evening if results go their way. Here, England on the verge quite of mathematically eliminating Serbia, but the Serbs really need a positive result to keep their realistic hopes alive, as we detailed earlier. The other game in this group, the one saving grace for them tonight, still 0-0 between Andorra and Albania, with England in possession. Stones has gone square to his right for Conser and now towards Reece James. Right back inside England territory again. Not necessarily the real zest, crisp passing football from England that we've got used to seeing over the last 3 games under Thomas Tuchel. But it's a nice pass there from Rashford out towards the far touchline, brought down by the goal scorer Saka. James is on the scene, he's laid it back for Anderson and gets an immediate return. Reece James with a little reverse down for Morgan Rogers, who will turn it away from Pavlovic. Saka can come in on his left foot again, clipping inside the area. Rice looking to get into a position to flick the ball on, but Milenkovic headed it away. And Serbia will then work it down towards the right-hand touchline, but straight over the line and out of play. Past Sivkovic for a throw that will be taken on the England left by Nico O'Reilly. It's 1-0 to England with 4 minutes into the second half here on TalkSport.
Yeah, I think on occasion we just need to load the box up a little bit. When Serbia have got back in slot and they've looked quite compact, sometimes it's just a case of just feint the ball in the box and commit a midfield player or 2 into the box to make it a numbers game.
What stage does Thomas Tuchel bring Jude Bellingham on?
Probably
does he not?
Yes, I think he does, on about 60 minutes, and maybe Eza as well. I just think that the performance as it is, whilst it's not a bad performance, bringing a couple of fresh faces on to give him a run out wouldn't be a bad thing. I thought they would have done that at half time, Jim. I really did, but he stuck with this line-up, and but I don't think it'll be too long past the 60-minute mark that he'll make the call.
Let's come back to those potential substitutions shortly. As Rashford comes in off the left flank, gets it onto his right foot and lets fly, and that's deflected away off Milenkovic. It came last and goes out of play for a goal kick. And do you want to see more minutes of Bellingham or Foden tonight? Bearing in mind everything that Thomas Tuchel has said and the fact that Foden hasn't had an opportunity since March.
Well, personally, if you're making one, if you're asking me which one, either or, personally it'll be Bellingham. So I think he's ahead of Phil Foden.
It's the goalkeeper Rajkovic, shaven-headed Serbian stopper, firing the ball forward. Stones, now O'Reilly, who's been ultra composed on his international debut. Would have been a huge surprise had he not been. Anderson bringing towards the edge of the centre circle. Your reaction to this England performance will be fascinating. 03717223344 is the number that gets you through to the sports bar tonight. England leading Serbia 1-0. Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy will be taking your calls. We'll also have all of the reaction here from our England correspondent Faye Carruthers, who will be speaking to Thomas Tuchel, and the headline makers as well here on TalkSport. Their reaction and yours entwined together on the sports bar tonight. 717-223344. England work a diagonal down towards Rashford, who controls it on his right thigh. Now glides forward towards the edge of the penalty area, trying to go the long way around Mimovic, who flicked it off Rashford. It might have been close, but the Rashford actually was over the dead ball line when it hit him. But a goal kick has been given. There are no complaints from the England number 11. Still 1-0.
I'll tell you what the Serbs have done. This big crossfield pass has come out to Rashford, and they've denied him the space inside. He quite enjoys, obviously, that inverted position, coming in, opening the goal up on his right foot. He's tried to go on the outside on that occasion, but when he has tried to dart inside, they've done extremely well in doubling up on him.
England have sent out Bellingham, Foden, Jordan Henderson and Berechi Eza out to warm up. In possession with Elliot Anderson, who's given a shove there by Gadelia to give a free kick England's way, 20 yards outside the penalty area. Elsewhere, Portugal still leading Ireland by 2-0. Troy Parrott only got 1 international goal in 3 years, but he scored twice in the first half tonight. Fine form domestically. Brace for his country. Ireland 2, Portugal 0. Ireland got a Hungary next. They would still need to win, but that would be a playoff place for them. Throwing themselves a massive lifeline tonight. Keep matters in their own hands. Rice to take this free kick. Sweeping it inside the penalty area. It's knocked out. Rogers controls it, sticking out a left leg, brings the ball under control, and Nico O'Reilly's first shot for his country is an errant one. He's dragged it way wide and out of play for a goal kick that will be taken by Rajkovic away to our left. England still leading by a goal to nil. Now it comes from Mimovic. Mimovic getting it again, just passing it forward towards Zivkovic, and Delia has won a free kick. England looking to extend their unbeaten record in home qualifiers to 41, which goes back some 18 years now. And the goalkeeper has just been caught there as it was played back to him. And Rodgers applied the press and did so just a little bit over-exuberantly. It was judged to have caught Rajkovic. Rodgers thought there was nothing in that at all, but a free kick has been given, and it's Pavlovic who plays out from the back.
Yeah, I think Rodgers is correct. He's not put his foot up at all, and the goalkeeper being closed down, I think it's double jeopardy. He thought if this gets cut out, at least I'll get the free kick.
Flicks it all away, and it goes for a throw. France have the breakthrough. They lead Ukraine 1-0. That will be enough for them to qualify tonight. Kylian Mbappe from the penalty spot. So France are going to be the second European nation to book their place in North America. We will have every game from the 2026 World Cup across the States, Canada and Mexico live for you here on the TalkSport Network. Starting in the second week of June, England will have warm-up games before the tournament, and we'll have those for you as well right here. March, the final camp before Thomas Tuchel picks his squad. I'm not sure the identity of the games that England will be playing in March. We know they're going to be on home soil. They will also be live right here. I think it will depend on the draw, see who England have got. It's often the case that England will match up in terms of continents with who they're going to end up facing. So if England get an African side in the World Cup, expect that they will get their friendly against an African team as a warm-up game. Ball play forward here for Saka, and he's offside. So he was foul, but the offside flag was up first, and is a free kick that will be taken by Serbia. Not really showing a huge amount of endeavour to get themselves back into this, with 10 minutes gone in the second half, and it's still that Saka goal that is the difference between the two teams.
Yeah, the Serbs have been very poor this second half. They've not come out with any adventure really, and the game's been played solely in their half at the moment. Just thinking, how many of the home nation teams do you think will be at the World Cup next summer, Jim?
In the fifth, there's Kane getting it forward. Rodgers, Rashford, good tackle coming in on him. Rodgers then on the follow-up, and it's taking a block. It's Delia and goes out of play for a goal kick.
Good play there by England, great set-up, and the pace of Rashford. He's just about to take a touch and unload one, and Milenkovic has come across and got a very good block in. Rodgers just following up, just lost his footing.
I will answer your question, Stu. I think it'll be one. England, obviously. I don't think any of the others will qualify, and I would love to be proved wrong. I just can foresee playoff despair in March. I think that there's every chance Wales will make it through to the playoffs in Scotland as well. But I just think those playoff games might be difficult, and I really hope that I'm wrong. It would be magnificent if all three were there. Sliding challenge comes in on the edge of the penalty area by Harry Kane. The Serbian player felt the contact, made sure that he rolled inside the penalty area, and Terzic. And now as England work it forward at the other end of the field, Kane involved in the thick end of a collision again, and he ends up on his backside with his hands out looking at the referee, appealing that he should have had a free kick, and nothing's been given there either. And Stankovic can bring it away.
Well, I'll tell you what, Harry Kane has just tracked back to the edge of his box and imparted a sliding tackle that any fullback would be proud of, and he was the one at the front end of the team as they broke up the pitch that nearly got on the end of it.
I must admit, when he went down, I had to do a little bit of a cartoon double take. Is he really covered that amount of ground that quickly to get back up there? It was a superb play and industry from Harry Kane, who's scored in 7 of his last 8 internationals, but has had a sniff of a chance in this second half. He's had a free header wide in the first. It's the closest that England have come to doubling their lead, incidentally. They've got it again now. Lovely step over from Rashford, letting it run through for O'Reilly. continued his run, then lays it back for Marcus Rashford. It's 30 yards out as he lets fly. He just got caught as he got the shot in. The shot was comfortably saved. There's no suspicion that he was fouled there by Zivkovic, I beg your pardon. But he's down, he picked up a sore one, maybe he's got caught on the left knee. He'll get back to his feet now, he's okay, and it remains 1-0.
Yeah, it's a sore one, but it gives the telltale sign that it's not too bad by the shaking of the wrist, if you know what I mean, Jim. I'm not sure I know what I mean, to be fair. You could decode that one and come back to me.
You're recalling Gareth Hunt, the Nescafe advert in the 1970s. I mean, I know your field of cultural reference.
Yes, indeed.
I'm sure that's what it was.
That's as good as that.
Yeah, Rajkovic has got the ball. He brings it out of the 6-yard box, and with a minute to go to the hour mark, it's still 1-0 to England here on Talk Sport. Vlahovic coming off the right-hand touchline, fires the ball forward out to the far touchline for Kostic. It's run back again by England, with Rice able to get it forward towards Saka. Back he goes to the edge of his own penalty area, and Konsa has it. Still 1-0 to England, 1-0 to France, 2-0 to Ireland. Italy being held in Moldova, and that is the passport for Norway's automatic qualification for the World Cup after their thumping win against Estonia earlier. Bringing the ball forward again from the back with John Stones. The Congo won that game in Rabat against Cameroon, so Cameroon are out and won't be at the World Cup. The Congo and Nigeria live to fight another day, and one of them will go through on Sunday. Only the next round of playoffs though, not qualification as yet. Saka play back towards Reece James with an hour gone. I'll run through the trivia question for you again in a few moments time. A last chance for you to consider what the answer might be. A lovely reverse ball forward. Flag stays down against Rashford, but he's dispossessed, and now the flag comes up. It was Mimovic that had tracked him. It didn't look as though Rashford was half a yard offside as the ball was played forward. A little reverse pass into his run. Mimovic coming from right back with him, tackled him, and then the flag came up late.
Yeah, unfortunate there. Good ball inside, into that inside right position, and various subs have just been called back, and I think there'll be some movement there. Jude Bellingham looks as though he's one of them. Meza looks another. Foden, I think there's going to be wholesale changes. Probably the game as it stands probably needs that, Jim.
Cristiano Ronaldo has just been sent off for Portugal against Ireland. 2-0 Ireland lead, and Ronaldo sent off. I'm able to add to his prolific international goal tally of 143 tonight. 2-0 to Ireland, and they're a man up as well, and that keeps matters in their own hands going to Budapest on Sunday, and we'll keep you updated with that here on Talk Sport. Serbia inside their own penalty area. Is England prepared to make this raft of changes? Foden and Bellingham both coming on. Serbia have it again, worked out towards Kostic. Kostic on the left-hand side of the penalty area. He's driving forward, he's locked in square, and it's a shocking miss from Vlahovic. What a let-off that is for England, who've had nothing to deal with defensively in the second half. But Kostic got goal side, he rolled it through the 6-yard box, and Vlahovic flicked it with his left foot wide of the far post. Just trying to be a little bit too intricate with it rather than putting his foot through it, and England survived.
Yeah, I think it was unfortunate, to be fair. The ball was slightly behind him, so he's had to sort of drag it and flick it through his own legs actually to try and get it into that far corner, but the pace on the ball's just unlocked him. A good opportunity all the same.
Well, he scored in Latvia and Andorra. He should have scored in England as well. Could have scored in England. Thomas Tuchel won't be happy about that, but the clean sheet remains intact. Yet another clean sheet. They've only let him 13 in the last 23 internationals. Rice coming forward again towards the edge of the penalty area. Rodgers, O'Reilly, clever flick back to Declan Rice. Rashford has it now on the left-hand side of the penalty area. Working in towards Morgan Rodgers, who is just thrown an arm up there to protect himself from the ball, and one of the Serbian defenders has crashed into it. the fans having their say on that, but it is a free kick to Serbia in the right back position. Now we are going to see the England changes. Foden still being given instructions by Thomas Tuchel, who's doing that with one breath, and then with the next he's turning to the fourth official and berating him about the quality of that last officiating decision. Stankovic playing it over the top, and Konsa got shoved in the back by Kostic. He got past him there. Would have been through one-on-one, but Konsa was fouled, and it's a free kick to England just outside their penalty area. And here comes Bellingham and Eze and Foden and Jordan Henderson as well.
Yeah, wholesale changes. I think the game probably needs you just freshening up slightly, so it's not a bad thing. And it gives the opportunity for one or two to impress.
So Kane comes off. No goal for him tonight. Declan Rice makes way as well. Morgan Rogers also leaves the scene.
Well, we spoke earlier, Jim, about Foden being that number 9. We've got probably half hour plus to have a look at him, with Bellingham in behind him by the looks of things.
Marcus Rashford's the other player that has made way. So it's Eze on the left, Saka on the right, Foden at 9 with Bellingham just off him, and Jordan Henderson will take over Anderson's role as the deepest of the midfielders, and Anderson will push forward and play in Declan Rice's role. So it's an attacking reshuffle as far as England are concerned, with 27-28 minutes to go. England leading by a goal to nil through Saka. Vlahovic missing a really good chance to make it 1-1. It's Jordan Henderson. Now Phil Foden, who we can expect to drop off into pockets like this. 20 yards adrift of the highest England player, just deep in midfield, and got caught on halfway. Free kick taken quickly. We'll work it down to the left-hand side for John Stones to bring it forward. Stones putting it straight ball over the top. And Eze chases after it and will get there. Left-hand side of the penalty area. Pass 1, pass 2. In towards Elliot Anderson, whose shot blocked at the near post by Milenkovic. And it's come off. Anderson got out of play for the goal kick.
Yeah, I think we're privy to see a few things that were talking points before the game. You know, Rice not being available for whatever reason. What would that look like? Can Anderson play further up in Rice's position? Foden probably playing the highest up, the centre forward role, if you like, with Bellingham just in behind, and Eze occupying this left hand side.
Well, it's almost 4-4-2 as far as England are concerned now, almost. In the way the Real Madrid play it as well. So Bellingham, the fish out of water. He has scored against Serbia in his international career before. It's one of only 6 goals that he's got for his country in 44 games. Phil Foden, only 4 in 45, and 2 of those were in his first 3 matches. He's only scored 2 international goals in the last 5 years. England in possession, work it back to Elliot Anderson again. 4 from him to Jordan Henderson, who's winning his 88th cap for his country tonight. A lot of them under Thomas Tuchel as a substitute. 6 of Tuchel's games, Henderson has come off the bench. Delia winning it back. Foden will chase after a ball that's gone back to the goalkeeper, and he's controlled it a little bit awkwardly, but he can clip it out to his left back. Second ball through the midfield, seized upon by Elliot Anderson, who's had another very solid game. It's a lovely turn in the midfield by Jude Bellingham. Bellingham to Foden to his left-hand side. Eze to his left. Here is Eze again. Tries to open it up the other way. Anderson trying to pass it in the bottom left-hand corner, but it was blocked. Comes out for Jordan Henderson. Back from him to O'Reilly. Now to be played for by Konsa. Saka on the right-hand side of the penalty area, drawing defenders out of position. Back into a more central area that O'Reilly can occupy. 1-2 between him and Henderson, and the Brentford man has it again. And the far touchline. Was cast in the role internationally these days of perennial substitute and mentor, and I know that his influence off the field is really highly regarded by Keith Andrews at Brentford as well. Here's Eza. No look pass down the line for O'Reilly. Put into play between the pair of them. Eza will take it on. Try and run at Mimovic. Tracks back and then wins a throw that will be taken on the England left. Midway through the second half here on TalkSport. Still England leading 1-0. The other game in this group, Albania now lead in Andorra by a goal to nil, and that would cement their playoff position. Serbia are going to make a change. Samajic coming on for Kudelja. So that's their second change. Straight swap in the heart of the midfield. An introduction for Razor Samajic, who plays his club football in Italy for Atalanta. O'Reilly's throw to Eza, back for Stones. Stones with a pass back behind Ezri Konsa. Konsa again, taking it forward towards the halfway line. In towards Jordan Henderson. Henderson's ball out to the England right for Bellingham. Bellingham gets it again. Work for Jordan Henderson's run down the right-hand side of the box, but it's cut out. England with Anderson. Bellingham's done really well to take the ball with players coming in from both sides of him. Henderson now flicked in, just too far ahead of Foden, and scooped up by the goalkeeper. 1-0.
Yeah, we seem to have an injection of energy at the moment with his subs that have come on, a little bit more fluency. Mimovic at right back for Serbia must think what's going on. He's had Rashford for 60 minutes and Eza's come on, a different type of player, but someone who is prepared to run at you, stop you and then move you again. He's a real handful.
Henderson plays the ball out towards Saka. Now Jude Bellingham's got it. Bellingham was one of the correct answers in the England trivia question today. We asked you in this goal-scoring run for England, which is now 19 successive games, which players had scored in that time who have never played club football for a London club. Jude Bellingham, one of those. I'll give you the others in a moment. As he glides forward now inside the penalty area, gets it back, little reverse flick, and it's played across the 6-yard box for Eza. And I think he's just bobbled up, hit his shin, and spooned over the bar by one of the defenders for a corner.
Really good play, good interaction. Bellingham at the heart of it, and just whipped it across. And England has got the opportunity now to pop the ball in the box. Saka on that right-hand side, looking to whip one in, and it was Reece James with that little reverse pass. And eventually it became good defending by Milenkovic getting back.
Another England win to nil on the cards at the moment, but they'd love a little bit of insurance. Into the final 20 minutes, it's still 1-0. Corner sent in really deep, and Konsa at the back post has just headed it into the side netting. Okay, here's the answer to your trivia question, and here are the 8 England players who've scored in this goal-scoring run who've never played club football in London. Bellingham and Grealish you had, Rashford you had, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Curtis Jones, Anthony Gordon, Morgan Rogers, and Taylor Harwood-Bellis. Those are the 8. Forward comes Serbia again inside the England penalty area for a moment. Mimovic on the overlap can fire a deep ball in. Vlahovic going up for it at the far post. Pickford will come out and just shepherd the ball over the line and out of play for a goal kick. They're complaining that it should be a corner. I actually think the offside flag's probably come up. It's going to be an England free kick away to our right-hand side. 18 to go. It's England 1, Serbia 0 here on TalkSport. Don't forget, we've got more live sports action coming up for you on Saturday. A huge rematch between Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn, live from Tottenham. And you can watch along on the night over on the TalkSport Boxing YouTube channel as well. Coverage starts at 7 live on TalkSport. You can also watch it live on DAZN. And a reminder that ahead of the Ashes next week, be sure to check out the TalkSport Cricket YouTube channel. We're from Golfy and the likes of Matt Pryor and many more on the channel as well. And we're bringing it forward here.
Tell you what, Jim, the amount of touches Anderson's had is incredible. He's probably had more touches than any England player by an absolute country mile. I've got to say, knits things together. The rest of the team trust him with the ball as well.
Can't wait to see Elliot Anderson playing for England against a top 10 side in the world. There's absolutely no hint that it's a challenge that he wouldn't be up to, but just looking forward to seeing it. The ball is worked forward here. Milenkovic heads it away from Eza. Foden coming on with, but Pavlovic can clear in the flags up against Eza in the previous phase of play. We've seen a few over the last 8-9 years come into an England shirt, take to it immediately, but it's hard to remember too many that have made the same kind of consistent impact game after game at the start of their England career as Elliot Anderson.
Yeah, there's been a real level of consistency about his performance. He's grown, I wouldn't say he's grown into it, he's actually started as he's gone on, with a real confidence about what he's done. The rest of the team trust him in regard to that, and he's done exactly what he's asked to do, playing in that position, dealing with any counter-attack situations and getting the ball off his two central defenders and knitting it together and feeding the players in front of him.
He's hit the ground running and kept scampering. Mistake by one of the Serbian substitutes, who will just allow England to get possession back on the edge of the penalty area. Right-footed ball in, oh, it's wide from Foden's flick header. Came to meet it, and it was a flick diving header from Foden, both feet off the ground as he tried to arrow it towards the top right hand corner, and he's put it just wide. Yeah, the curl on the ball, it's a great ball in, but the curl on the ball just caught him out a little bit. It was airborne, probably slightly too early, and he's ended up not being able to crane his head around it. But the one thing England have got now since the changes, I think we've got more players in the box when that ball's gone out wide, which obviously gives more targets and more pressure on the Serbian backline. 15 minutes away from another clean sheet. 15 minutes away from a 10th successive victory in a competitive international, which is something that they've only ever done once in their history, which was back in 2014-15, as I mentioned earlier. If they go to Albania and win 2-0, they would equal Spain's all-time international record of 10 consecutive wins to nil in competitive games, which was set in the middle of the last decade as well. Now, ball change is going to be made here for Serbia, who are going to introduce Marko Grujic, a familiar figure back in the day, former Liverpool man, had a loan spell at Cardiff as well. We'll also see Luka Jovic come on. Former Milan striker who's now playing his club football in Greece for AEK. And Radonjic, the Red Star Belgrade winger, is the third player to be introduced. That completes the Serbian substitutions with 14 minutes to go here on TalkSport. A reminder, England in action in Tirana next Sunday, 5 o'clock it kicks off. And build up at 4 here on TalkSport, right from the stadium out in Albania. The game itself kicks off at 5, the conclusion of England's qualification campaign. As things stand at the moment, they'll be going into it having won 7 out of 7 and scored 19 without reply. It's been tougher against Serbia tonight, who've given a much better exhibition of their skills this evening, albeit that they were better in the first half than they've been in the second. Pavlovic bringing the ball away. Plays through the midfield for the substitute Stankovic. He's put under immediate pressure from Foden. Played forward towards halfway. Ball brought down. Bellingham's got it. Just got caught there by the substitute Grujic. Play goes on. Saka chasing after it. Plays it back in. Foden has headed it away from Eza, who's coming in behind him. And then Anderson wins a corner as he tries to knock the ball square across the edge of the 6-yard box. They just didn't get the communication right. Foden had left it. Eza may well have scored, but Foden's touch took it out of his flight path, and England have to make do with the corner.
Yeah, I think we've seen a couple of situations there with Foden playing the furthest up the pitch, the number 9 role. He's had a couple of opportunities where you think someone with a touch more stature might have scored with his head a couple of times.
Michael Olise's doubled France's lead. They're qualifying tonight. They lead Ukraine 2-0. England with this corner as they look to double their lead. Players made their way out of the 6-yard box as the cross comes in from Foden. It was an away swinger and easily headed away. Saka threatened to go back for Pickford, but instead has turned it back out towards the right-hand touchline to get England on the front foot. And the impressive Anderson lends the ball to Jordan Henderson and gets it straight back. Now there's space for Bellingham. Runners ahead of him, including Eze. To his left is Nico O'Reilly, who plays in his City teammate Foden. Back from him to Bellingham. Bellingham on the edge of the D, and leaning back, he's fired the ball way over the bar. 12 to go, 1-0 to England.
Yeah, as I say, England press in. They're in and around the final third at the moment. They're getting good numbers in the box when they get opportunity, but opening up the Serbians is proving very difficult, and this second goal will be welcome, I think, from Thomas Tuchel.
At the moment, Tuchel set fair for an 8th win in 9 games in charge. Only one previous England boss has ever managed that. It was Glenn Hoddle, won 9 of his first 10. Sven also won 7 of his first 8, but drew the 9th, which could still happen to Thomas Tuchel. England would have conceded an equaliser here. At the moment, it's 1-0. And England are in possession with Stones. I think Stones' fitness and commanding presence at the heart of the defensive line, not to mention his experience of playing in major tournaments, will be absolutely vital in the summer. Need Stones to stay fit. Here's Eze on the left-hand side of the box. Pulled back. Anderson stretches out a right foot, brings it under control. Foden's taking a deflection. Anderson then saw it drift over his shoulder, but couldn't pull it back in time. It's gone out of play for a goal kick.
Yeah, as I say, we got 4 or 5 players there in and around the box, which is good numbers, but Anderson's tried to bring it down and just got his control on.
So Serbia to take the goal kick away to our left-hand side. What are you expecting to be the general feeling of England supporters when they're phoning the Sports Bar 8 tonight, Stuart? That this has been a frustrating night, a lacklustre evening, that it's another significant step in the right direction. I'll get your views on that in a moment as Serbia try and get a shot in. It might break for a left-footed effort that has gone just wide, although the offside flag was up anyway, and Samardžic's shot wouldn't have counted had it gone in, but Pickford was beaten that time. It flew just wide.
Well, in reply to your answer, I think the final score will dictate a little bit of that. I think there's been a lot of good credit in the last few games coming into this game, so the game in isolation won't be viewed too badly. England have been reasonably comfortable. Every now and then there's been a slight skirmish from the Serbs, and we've just seen an effort there from the Serbs that showed how good Saka's finish was earlier. This was an easier opportunity, same technique, but the target being missed. I think a little bit of frustration in answer to your question. People would have preferred a slightly better performance from the team.
Well, England fans, however you're feeling about it, we'd love to know. 08717 223333. The lines are open right now. And Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy are taking your views on the Sports Bar tonight. In terms of the tale of the tape, 70-30 in terms of possession. England have had twice as many shots as Serbia, but only 4 on target for 70% of the ball through 82 minutes. So that might be a cause for slight concern. Defensively, again, England have been sound. By and large, it's been the odd nervy moment, notably the Vlahovic one, but there's only been 1 shot on target for Serbia. So the ball is worked forward again. And they can't get anyone on the end of it. Rajkovic comes out and claims and whacks it away. Forward towards Vlahovic. Down from him to Samardžić. Stones can't get it away from him. Brought forward now by Grujic, who works it wide for Jovic. And Serbia getting the blue shirts forward inside the penalty area again. Anderson can clear though. And plays it out to the England right, and it's beginning to open up. Serbia having to commit body sport. Know that they need a draw. With Albania leaving in Andorra, Serbia desperate for a draw here. The difference between a draw and a defeat is monumental for them. Bearing in mind that they'll be hoping that England can do them a favour in Albania at the weekend, live on TalkSport. O'Reilly gets it forward here. Serbia's last game at home to Latvia, which they would expect to win. There's just a coming together there between Foden and Samardžić. And Serbia win possession back. It was off the ball. Foden had fallen over. It's like the old training ground prank where someone's walking backwards, someone bends down behind them whilst they do so, and They just fall over them. They hadn't staged it quite like that, but Foden had done that, and Samajic just toppled right over him, didn't see him, he was there at all. And Serbia were able to get it away. You're smiling in a way that makes me think you perpetrated that once or twice. Pickford will race outside his penalty area and get it away. And England can bring forward once more as they prepare to bring Adam Wharton on for his competitive debut. Ball playing forward just too far ahead of Eza. And out comes Rajkovic and he can make the save. It's 1-0 with 6 to go.
Yeah. We might have done that trick that you talked about, maybe with the chairman, put him over our back on occasion. You know?
On occasion, not just once. On occasion. Went down so well the first time that you had to see an action replay. Serbia will bring it forward again. Ball inside the penalty area, left-footed effort. Pickford beaten as that just kissed the stanchion on its way past. Then the offside flag actually was up once more. And a yellow card is shown to Kostic. And England can make the change. And here is Adam Wharton, who's had to wait a long time for his second cap. His first one came in Newcastle as a substitute against the Bosnians back in June 2024. He's had to wait really patiently, didn't play, having gone to the Euros. He's a member of the squad last year, but didn't feature. And he now has come on for his international debut. He looked very good on his debut back end of the season before last. He gets 6 minutes here as he replaces Elliot Anderson.
Yeah, it's interesting. You know, we've seen Gomez playing that deep line role. Wharton's played in it. Mainoo's played in it, and you know, we thought they were the finished article when they arrived on the scene, but it changes quite a bit, and Henderson looks as though he's taken that position and grabbed it for himself at the moment.
So Wharton on, player started all but 2 of Palace's Premier League games this season. His first touch shot just a little bit loose, and went to Pavlovic. Now Serbia can get it forward quickly with Radonjic down the left-hand side of chase after a lost cause, and it's a throw that England will take down by their own corner flag. Serbia now in a position they've really got to gamble and push forward. You wouldn't be surprised to see a second England goal on the counter-attack, because Serbia have got to go for a draw here. They will be more than aware that Albania are leading in Andorra with just a minute or so to go. France now 3 up against Ukraine, and Kylian Mbappe has scored his second and France's third. Portugal, with Ronaldo having been sent off, still 2 down in Ireland. And still goalless only in the last few minutes in Chisinau. Had Italy have just scored in that game, right on cue. Mancini making Moldova 0, Italy 1. But Norway are going to win that group. Here come England again, looking for a second. Bellingham to Foden. Eza! Brilliant! Oh, it's off the bar. He sent it into the ground. It's ricocheted back over the goalkeeper onto the bar. And Rajkovic can turn and comfortably claim the ball and get Serbia going upfield. It looks as though England has scored the second on the counter-attack. And Eza denied by a matter of inches.
Yeah, great play there. England were like the Red Arrows, I've got to say. Went with purpose, went with numbers. Bellingham leading the charge, and a little 1-2. Eza going in behind. And you thought the net, just waiting for the net to ripple, basically. But I don't know whether the goalie's got something on it that's diverted it onto the ground and up onto the crossbar.
Pickford bringing it to the edge of the D. He's been able to angle the ball out towards Aberachi Eza, who came off the bench to score in both games against Latvia. Romania's only international goals so far. France have got a 4th against Ukraine. Just to clarify that situation, with Italy leading in Moldova by a goal to nil, they would have to beat Norway 10-0 in Milan in order to come top of that group. That might not happen. Rajkovic can bring the ball forward, finds Pavlovic. Nico O'Reilly's defended really well against Samajic. He's had a really assured international debut to be proud of. There's a lane, the ball past him. Back for Jordan Henderson. Inside his own half for John Stones. We've got 2.5 minutes of normal time to go. Maybe 3 to be added. It's O'Reilly. Clipped up the left-hand side as Eza won a throw. It hasn't the second time. It's come off Mimovic. I think we'll be in no hurry to take this just seeing out time. This will be an 11th win in 12. Well, extend the unbeaten record in World Cup qualifiers to 38, which is a run, it's the best in Europe, unsurprisingly, and goes back to 2009. O'Reilly trying to make his way through again. This time he has fouled Milenkovic, and the Forest centre-half has had a better night than he did against England in Belgrade, where he got sent off, works the free kick back to his goalkeeper, try and get it forward quickly. Pavlovic, and then it's cleared and hit him, and England will win it back. Try and work it back towards Bellingham on the edge of the penalty area, but it was cleared away from Foden. Now Serbia with the ball over the top, and they've got goal side, and it's a big opportunity, but Pickford can dive down to his right and make a comfortable save. Radonjic took it really early, and that's bailed England out.
Yeah, I think Konsa has got across there and actually got a challenge in. I think he certainly was in close contact.
Second or third time that Serbia have looked for that long ball over the top, and Konsa's pace has come back to remedy the situation. Seeing the replay is a great spot of yours, that's true.
Yeah, as I say, he's just got there first before the shot was being unloaded. And, fortunately for us, the referee didn't deem it as a back pass.
And they're trying to win it back with Jordan Henderson, who have been able to do exactly that. 30 seconds of the 90 minutes to go. Phil Foden. Here's Eza! That seals it. Wonderful goal from Berici Eza. Hit the bar moments earlier, but this time as Foden plays him in, he opened up the body and passed it into the top right-hand corner. Another incoming win to nil for England, whose 100% record in this qualification group is now assured. England 2, Serbia 0.
I've got to say, we've had two finishes tonight from Eza and Saka that looked easy to do. Make no mistake, they've been absolutely brilliant finishes, and he just run onto it. Good play there. Since the substitutions, we've looked as though we've got more players forward. The game's been stretched slightly, and Foden it was leading the charge there, laid it to Eza. Great weight on the ball. It enabled Eza just to come onto it, nice and relaxed, and fade it into the far corner.
Berici Eza scores in a second successive international. Serbia complaining about something in the build-up to that. There's a lot of anger. Might be born of the frustration in the group, the fact that they now know as the game goes into stoppage time that there's no chance. I don't think that they will be able to fight back and get the draw that they need. They know that they're going to be finishing third in this group. Meanwhile, at the behest of the fourth official, across comes the referee and he books Veljko Paunovic, the Serbian coach.
I think they were looking for either a foul from Konsa or a back pass from Konsa in that challenge at the edge of the box. That's all I can think of, Jim.
Well, the VAR had a lengthy look at it, but the goal does stand. And England lead by 2 goals to nil. Maybe a slight tug, yeah. Bellingham with a slight tug on Pavlovic to win possession back in the first place for England. But the goal stands. It's Saka and Eza, and it's a 2-0 lead for England with 2.5 minutes of stoppage time still to go. Adam Wharton almost caught in possession there. Ended up playing it back towards Ezri Konsa, who did well to flick it away. Foden to Bellingham. Foden's been lively since coming on. He's showing for the ball. He's got it again now, and sends an aerial 45-degree ball out to the England right-hand side for Bukayo Saka. Jordan Henderson's going to come onto it. Saka again. The fact that Saka is the only forward who's had 90 minutes tonight makes me wonder whether he might be left out potentially for the game in Albania on Sunday. Be interesting to see exactly how much of a part he plays. Stones has got it. He's got Pickford behind him. Pickford not too far away now from leading the field, having not conceded for 900 minutes. Back for Pickford again. He's rolling his studs over the top of the ball. Now flighting it forward towards halfway. Saka's turned his man beautifully. Chance for England to set the seal on it now. Saka Here's Jude Bellingham coming forward. Ezra's got it again. Dancing inside the first challenge. Bellingham continues his run forward. And Pavlovic takes it out of the hands of his goalkeeper. Couldn't really leave it. He's put it behind for a corner.
Yeah, it was a near miss for a good chance. I think Saka's pass was too soon. I think once he got beyond the back line, he should have been opening his legs and committing one of the central defenders across to him before he played the pass. But once again, where Thomas Tuchel will be delighted, you know, things were a touch stagnant. He's made a substitution of 4 players, and those 4 players have come on and improved the opportunities in and around the Serbian goal.
Foden takes his latest England corner. Headed away from inside the penalty area, and there's been a push in there by Jordan Henderson. And a free kick to the Serbs. France have qualified. They've beaten Ukraine 4-0, so they are through. Norway all but mathematically through to join England, who make it 7 wins out of 7 in this qualification group. They've scored 20 goals in the process. 2 tonight, not the 5-star, 5-goal performance that we saw in Belgrade against Serbia, but a very solid return to home soil. Goals from Saka and Eza, 1 a night each half, getting the job done. England will play better, but there was never really too much danger the other way. Another step forward. England beating Serbia by 2-0. 10 competitive international victories in a row, something they've only ever managed once before in their history.